I always knew my family didn't think much of me. Growing up, I was the odd one out, the quiet kid who spent Friday nights with textbooks instead of beer bottles, who wore secondhand clothes while my cousins flaunted designer labels like trophies. While they boasted about weekend parties and expensive toys, I was the nerd plotting my escape route through late-night studying and weekend jobs. I wasn't interested in impressing anyone, least of all my arrogant, self-absorbed relatives. But life has a funny way of flipping scripts. After years of grinding, building, and sacrificing, I'd made it. Made more money than any of them ever had, actually. Not that they cared, or rather not that they admitted they cared. They just pretended my success didn't exist until they spotted a way to benefit from it. Which brings us to tonight's disaster. I hadn't planned on seeing them. In fact, I'd spent years masterfully avoiding these family gatherings because they followed the same tired script. Condescending remarks wrapped in fake smiles, constant reminders that no matter what I achieved, I'd always be just marked to them. The black sheep they barely tolerated. But my mother, bless her conflicted heart, had practically begged me to come. Just one dinner, Mark. For me, it's been years. I caved, regretted it the second I walked into that overpriced steakhouse. The entire extended family was already seated at a long camelback table, laughing and talking like something out of a movie. My cousin Jason, my biggest tormentor growing up, held court in the center, grinning like he owned the place. The moment his eyes landed on me, that grin widened into something predatory. "Oh, wow, look who decided to show up." Jason leaned back in his chair, his voice loud enough to turn heads at neighboring tables. "Didn't think you had time for us, big shot." I forced a polite smile and reached for an empty chair near the end of the table. Jason's frown was immediate. Sorry, Mark, but that seat's taken." I glanced around. The only empty seats were next to Jason or his equally smug sister, Rachel. I reached for a different chair. "That one too," Rachel rolled her eyes like I was some clueless child. "You're kidding." Jason chuckled, leaning forward with his elbows on the table. "Mark, this table is for family. You can find a spot outside." Laughter. Not from everyone, but from enough people to make my jaw tighten. My mother looked uncomfortable but said nothing. She never did. My aunt smirked. My uncle shook his head like I was some embarrassing joke. I could have left. Should have left. Instead, I smiled. "Outside, huh?" I said. "No, I'll stay." I grabbed an empty chair from a nearby table and dragged it over, placing it just outside their circle, but close enough to technically be at the table. When the waiter approached looking uncertain, I waved him off and ordered a coffee. Jason and Rachel shared a look, but they didn't argue. Not yet. Then the real show began. I wasn't stupid. I knew why they wanted me here. This wasn't about catching up or family bonding. This was about flexing. Throughout dinner, they made a theatrical production of ordering the most expensive items on the menu. "I'll take the Wagyu," Jason announced, snapping his menu shut, "and the lobster. Oh, and another round of drinks for everyone." He shot me a smirk. "We're celebrating after all." "Yeah, we should really enjoy ourselves tonight," Rachel grinned. "Desserts, too." "Get the most expensive ones," my uncle chimed in with a satisfied grunt. The waiters kept coming. The bill kept climbing. I said nothing, just sipped my coffee and watched them with growing amusement. When the plates were empty, wine glasses drained, and everyone was lounging back with satisfied sighs, the waiter arrived with the bill. $3,247. He placed it directly in front of me. Jason stretched lazily. "You got this, right, Mark?" Rachel giggled. "Come on, it's nothing to you." Silence. The entire table was looking at me now, waiting. I let the moment stretch, then slowly picked up the bill, glancing over it like I actually cared about the total. Then I chuckled, a soft, knowing sound. Jason frowned. "What's so funny?" I leaned back, took another sip of my coffee, and grinned. "Oh," I said, "you guys have no idea who's covering it tonight." And with that, I placed the bill back down, right in front of Jason. The confusion spread across the table like wildfire. Jason stared at the bill, blinking as if trying to make sense of reality. "Wait, you're serious?" His voice dropped, but there was a nervous edge now. His grin faltered. I didn't respond immediately. Instead, I took another slow sip of coffee, watching his expression shift from confusion to realization to something far darker. Rachel, noticing the change, gave Jason a quick nod. "Isn't your company doing well, Mark?" she asked sweetly, sarcasm barely concealed. "Surely a little dinner like this won't put a dent in your wallet." There it was. The expectation, the assumption that I had to pay for their indulgence just because I was the successful one. They didn't care about the effort it took to get here, the years I'd spent building my business from nothing. All they cared about was the money they thought I should share. But this wasn't just about money. This was about them thinking they could treat me like dirt while benefiting from my success. Jason tried again, his voice more forceful, though his smile was now a tight grimace. "Come on, Mark. You know you can afford it." He looked at the waiter, then back at me. "The bill's huge, but you're a businessman, right? Just swipe that card and call it a night." My mother, who had been silent until now, shifted uncomfortably. "Mark, honey, please. It's just a dinner. It's a family gathering, and you know how they are." Her voice trailed off, trying to keep the peace, but I could tell she wasn't entirely on their side. My uncle leaned forward, his belly spilling over his chair. "Look, Mark, I don't know what's going on with you, but don't act like we don't know your situation. You've been making bank for months now. Don't be a child. Pay the bill and let's go home." He was practically demanding it, his tone cold and calculating. The others nodded, some grinning, others just waiting for me to buckle under pressure. They thought I would cave, that I would just pay to avoid awkwardness. But I wasn't going to cave, not this time. I smiled, not a big, proud grin like Jason, but a small, almost playful smile. "All right," I said, my voice calm and controlled. "I'll pay the bill." A chorus of relieved sighs echoed around the table. Some even clapped me on the back like I just won some moral victory. But I wasn't done yet. Jason's face lit up. "See? That wasn't so hard, was it?" He gave a mock salute. "Thanks, big shot." I leaned forward, my smile never faltering. "Number, I changed my mind. Good luck, guys." The silence was instant, like someone had hit a mute button. For a moment, no one moved. No one said a word. Jason's face shifted from confidence to something darker. I was already standing, reaching for my jacket. "By the way," I added, my voice low, "if you don't want to be responsible for big checks, you might want to think about how much you order next time." Jason's eyes were wide now, no longer the confident cousin who always took advantage of me. His jaw clenched as he glanced around the table, clearly unsure what to do. I turned to leave, walking slowly, knowing they would follow the script I had set up. The waiter was still standing there, waiting for someone to take charge. "Hey," Jason snapped, "you can't just—" But I didn't let him finish. "I'll be over there," I called back, gesturing to the lounge area. "Just let me know when you figured it out." I walked away, feeling the tension crackling behind me. They didn't know how to handle it. They thought they could push me, guilt-trip me, and I'd just fold like always. But this time, I wasn't playing their game. As I sank into a plush chair in the lounge, I glanced back toward the dining area. Jason was standing now, nervously adjusting his collar, talking in hushed tones with Rachel and my mother. Their voices were barely audible, but I caught fragments. "Mark's not going to. He'll pay, right? Don't make him mad. Do we have enough?" The desperation was obvious. They were calculating how much they could scrape together without reaching into their own pockets. They were about to learn that this time, I wasn't going to be their backup plan. Minutes passed. I checked my phone, acting carefree while stealing glances at their panic. The waiter lingered nearby, probably giving them the side-eye. The longer this went on, the more obvious it became that they were in over their heads. Finally, Jason made his way over, looking like he'd walked through hot coals. His face was a mixture of frustration and something close to guilt. "What's up?" I asked casually. He exhaled sharply. "Mark, this isn't funny. The bill is way higher than we thought. Can you just help us out this time? We're family, right?" I let out a small chuckle. "Oh, I'm not laughing, Jason. I'm serious. You guys wanted this meal, ordered whatever you wanted without asking if I was cool with it. Now you're asking me to foot the bill for everything." He swallowed hard. "Look, man, we didn't realize it was going to be like this. It's just dinner, right? Can't you just help out?" I leaned back, letting his words hang in the air. This was the same tired act they always pulled. No self-awareness, no accountability. They didn't care about me. They just cared about my money. Jason, I'm done playing this game, I said finally. You're all grown-ups, right? You can afford to pay for your own meals. I'm not your bank anymore. I don't care if you're my family. That doesn't mean I owe you anything. His expression shifted from desperation to something more defensive. You're going to let us pay for all of this? After everything we've done for you? I shot him a flat look. You mean all the times you've asked me to pay for everything while acting like I owed you something? That doesn't count as being there for me, Jason. Behind him, Rachel and my mother watched anxiously. I could see Rachel's wheels turning, probably trying to figure out some way to manipulate the situation. We can't just leave, can we? Rachel's voice cracked with stress. We're not going to just walk away from a $3,000 bill. That would be insane. I raised an eyebrow. No one's walking away, Rachel. You guys are staying and paying. I'm done with the charade. Jason's face was turning red. You can't be serious. You're just going to let us suffer here? You think I'm the one who made those choices? I interrupted. You all decided what you were ordering. You made the choices. Now live with the consequences. My mother's voice trembled. Mark, please. This isn't the time for this. We're family. Just help us out. You can afford it. I stood up slowly, straightening my jacket. No, I can't afford it, Mom. You can. Jason can. Rachel can. But I'm not covering your mess this time. I walked toward the exit without looking back. The murmurs followed me as I stepped into the cool evening air. I heard footsteps behind me, but I wasn't about to turn around. They dug their own hole. Now it was time to see how deep they'd have to dig to get out. In the parking lot, Rachel's heels clattered against the pavement. Mark, wait! Her voice was shaking. You can't just leave. Please, this is serious. I turned around, cutting her off. You think I don't know what's serious, Rachel? You think I don't know exactly what you're doing? She stopped in her tracks. You've been using me for years, I said quietly but firmly. Every time something comes up, it's, Mark, you'll cover this, right? It's never, hey, Mark, how are you? It's always about what I can do for you. Well, I'm done. Her eyes flickered with guilt before she masked it with anger. You can't just leave us hanging like this. We need you. I'm not walking away from family, Rachel. I'm walking away from your entitlement. This isn't family. This is manipulation. And I'm done letting you use me. Jason and my mom emerged from the restaurant looking frantic. Jason's shirt was half untucked. My mom's expression was pure panic. Mark, please, my mom said, her voice cracking. We don't know what we're going to do. We can't afford this. You're the only one who can help us. You think I'm just going to bail you out again? I asked. You think this is just about money? It's not. This is about respect. This is about recognizing that I've worked my ass off to get where I am. And you can't just keep using me when things don't go your way. Jason stepped forward, hands pleading. Mark, come on, don't do this. We're family. No, Jason, I cut him off, my tone hard now. It's always been about the money for you. The second you thought I'd pay, you stopped considering me as a person. You saw me as an ATM. I could see Jason's face redden as he struggled for words. I glanced at my mom, who was looking more frantic now, her eyes darting between me and the restaurant. You've made your bed, I said, turning away. Now lie in it. I'm done here. Before they could say anything else, I slid into my car and started the engine. I could see their figures in my rearview mirror, still standing there frozen in disbelief. As I drove off, I felt a strange sense of liberation. For once, I wasn't being the sucker. I wasn't the one getting used. As the restaurant faded into the distance, I knew I'd made the right choice. They had pushed too far. Now it was time for them to face the consequences of their actions. My phone buzzed with calls and texts. Pleas, guilt trips, empty promises to pay me back. But I didn't answer. I was done being their safety net. The next day, I learned they'd scraped together just enough to cover the bill, calling in favors and taking out loans. The restaurant manager had even called them out for their manipulative behavior. They were humiliated. And me? I didn't feel an ounce of guilt. The real payoff wasn't the money or watching them struggle. It was finally taking control, finally drawing the line. That was worth way more than any meal I could have paid for. I wasn't going to be their fool anymore. Sometimes the best way to love family is to let them stand on their own 2 feet, even if it means they fall flat on their faces.